Hey everyone, Laura here.
And Nellie.
And today we're going to talk to you about tick safety. So it's summertime, it's been beautiful weather. I know I want to be outside, but there's one problem. It's crawling with ticks out there. Not just in our woods, but also I know in my yard and in local parks. And these things are more than itchy. They also carry a lot of different tick-borne illnesses. There are at least 6 different tick-borne illnesses that have been identified in Missouri, and some of these can have pretty long-lasting consequences if they are not dealt with immediately. So first of all, I want to say that if you get bit by a tick and you show some symptoms like fever, a rash, there's the classic bullseye rash that's associated with Lyme, but rashes can appear on other parts of the body as well in different patterns, or headaches, then you should get to a doctor right away and get some antibiotics, because that is the best way to deal with potential tick-borne illnesses. But beyond that, there's lots of things that you can do to keep your body resilient and strong in the face of these tick-borne illnesses. And today we're going to talk about that. So, Nellie, what do you think is one thing you can do?
Well, in my case, I'm really sensitive to the air conditioning during the summer, and it seems to weaken me a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I do some things all summer long that I wouldn't do in the winter, even though it's colder in the winter, that keep me sort of like strong. They keep me from having problems between being outdoors and then in the AC, which can make your immune system kind of like off. And for me, a formula called Romania Endurance is really great. It's a Chinese formula it's like a bodybuilding. It's a body strengthening formula and keeps your immune system top notch. It's for the person who feels like they're burning the candle at both ends or just kind of overworked, which you can feel if you're going in and out of AC and the heat and humidity. This keeps me steady and healthy all summer. It's also great for folks who may have a tick-borne illness and they just want to stay on top of it. So it's one of my favorites. There are other ones too that we recommend.
Yeah, so a big deal is keeping your immune system up, because these tick-borne illnesses are a bacterium. They're a type of bacterium called a spirochete that gets into your bloodstream and then can penetrate through your endothelial tissue and start attacking different organ systems in the body. But the more resilient your immune system is and the more in balance your body is, the better your body can fend for itself in these situations. So 2 herbs that I really love are astragalus and cordyceps. So astragalus is another great herb for kind of that temperature regulation that Nellie was talking about, and it's also what I would call just an immune system tonic herb. So it's not necessarily stimulating, but it just helps to achieve immune system balance, and it is protective and nourishing, and something that is best taken a little bit every day, either as a tincture or a capsule, or my favorite way is actually to get the astragalus roots that we have in our bulk section, added to a broth that you might sip or cook your rice in. My other favorite herb for just keeping your immune system in good shape is cordyceps. So cordyceps is as a fungus that grows on the caterpillar of a moth. It's pretty wild. And it has been used for a long time in a lot of different traditional alternative medicine cultures to up vitality and endurance. Why it's particularly helpful for tick-borne illnesses is, one, that it helps to stimulate circulation, especially to the brain and to the eyes. And there's a lot of issues with cognitive support with tick-borne illnesses, because they can actually get into the nervous system and cause memory issues as well as other neurological symptoms. So cordyceps helps with that, and it also is cardioprotective. So just in the same way that the spirochetes can get into your joints and lead to arthritis, it can get into your heart and cause cardiac issues. So it's protective for that. It's also energizing. It's got immune boosting properties, and it also even has some antimicrobial properties. So it's all around great summertime immune system herb, especially when you consider that summer is a very active month, and you're maybe going to want something that's going to help you have a little bit more endurance.
And let me add that both of those you can take all year round.
Yes.
And you can take them as needed as well. You'll feel the effects when you take them, but they work better over time.
Yeah.
Cumulatively,
Yeah.
they're very protective.
Yeah, a little bit all the time is better than just taking it as needed. And again, these things aren't meant to be a cure for tick-borne illnesses, but ways to build your resiliency so that if you do get exposed to tick bites, you're just a little bit more protected. The next thing that I want to talk about is protecting what we call what's called the endothelial tissue. So like I mentioned, ticks get into the bloodstream, and then they float around the bloodstream until they find a junction that they can penetrate through, and then they can wreak havoc on those organ systems. So protecting your endothelial tissue, usually with things that are rich in antioxidants, is a really important thing to do. So one of the best antioxidants for that is going to be resveratrol, which is sourced from Japanese knotweed, or just a Japanese knotweed extract right there.
It's also in some antioxidant formulas.
So the reason why this is recommended is not only because these antioxidants, they help protect your body from some of the oxidative damage that is the result of these spirochete infections. But there's studies that show that these actually can help to protect and regenerate some of that endothelial tissue. So it's a fantastic thing to take. There's lots of benefits to resveratrol above and beyond that.
I take resveratrol every day.
Yeah.
As an antioxidant, it's my favorite one. So
Yeah.
I take CoQ10 sometimes too.
Yeah. But definitely upping your antioxidants can help protect those cells and keep them resilient. And the third thing that we'll talk about is supporting your collagenous tissue. So we're talking about collagen, which is the most abundant protein in the body. And in the case of Lyme disease in particular, these are the spirochetes that are associated with Lyme disease. They're parasites, and what they eat from our bodies is our collagen. So that's why they can wreak so much havoc in the body. So supporting your collagenous tissue by taking maybe a collagen peptide supplement or gelatin, some vitamin C and some B vitamins, maybe some hyaluronic acid, can help to build and repair that tissue and keep it in good shape. Which is important all the time, but especially important when we think about the risks associated with tick-borne illness.
A note on that. One of the most common and most prevalently diagnosed tick-borne illness in Missouri and Arkansas were the leading states in new diagnosis of alpha-gal syndrome, which is a tick-borne illness that makes you allergic to mammal products, and that would include collagen. So doing the collagen builders is what I would do. Vitamin C, zinc. I also really like cat's claw for joint protection, which is a big target for these spirochetes, is the joints. And we have it in tincture and pills. The alpha-gal is creepy. They say you can recover, but no one knows anyone who has gotten better from it. So if you're having trouble finding products that don't have gelatin and or other animal, like mammal ingredients, come see what we have. We have pills, we have tinctures, we have multivitamins, we have things that have a vegetarian or vegan in capsule. So that's often a problem for people who need to switch over. So that's another tick-borne illness to be thinking about.
Yeah, thinking about and being aware of, but also try not to get too scared, because being outside is still so good for your health. It increases focus, attention, calmness, and even can increase compassion and empathy. So I still think you should get outside. Just when you do, make sure that you are checking your body for ticks when you come home, removing them as quick as possible, and paying attention for those symptoms, and making sure that if you have any kind of flu-like symptoms after being bit by a tick, that you go and see your doctor.
And I'm putting Tick Shield Cedarcide on my body and my pet's body every time we go outside. I know pet tick and flea protection will keep the ticks from living on your pet, but they still are carriers. So they'll bring the tick in on their fur, and then it's in your house, and then it's on you.
Yeah.
So this is safe for animals, safe for kids, safe for people. It's a high potency cedar oil, and it seems to work really well. Also against mosquitoes and other bugs. Highly recommend.
And one last tip before we go. One thing I like to do if I do get bit by a tick, which happens all the time actually, is I like to get an andrographis tincture, which is a herb that is incredibly antimicrobial, and I will apply that tincture onto the bite site and put some bentonite clay. Just a little extra protection. But again, go ahead and enjoy the outside and take care of your bodies and take care of yourself. And thanks for listening.